Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, eating your greens, hitting the gym, getting 8 hours of sleep, but you still feel off? Like there's a constant low-level hum of fatigue, brain fog, or just a general lack of vitality you can't quite shake? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And what if I told you this isn't just in your head? What if it's a sign of a much larger and visible trend affecting millions of us in the modern world? We live in an age of unprecedented medical advancement. We've eradicated diseases that once plagued humanity. Our lifespans are longer than ever, and a wealth of health information is just a click away. On the surface, we should be the healthiest generation in history. Yet, paradoxically, a growing body of evidence suggests that beneath this shiny exterior, the fundamental pillars of human health are quietly eroding. This isn't about dramatic, headline-grabbing epidemics. It's a slow, invisible decline in our baseline well-being, a gradual dimming of our collective vitality. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore why. Let's start with our food. We're told to eat a balanced diet, but what does that even mean anymore? The very soil our food grows in is not what it used to be. Decades of intensive industrial farming have stripped our soils of essential minerals and micronutrients. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition compared nutritional data for 43 different fruits and vegetables from 1950 and 1999. The results were startling. They found significant declines in protein, calcium, phosphorus, iron, and vitamins B2 and C. This means that the orange you eat today likely contains less vitamin C than the orange your grandparents ate. You literally have to eat more food just to get the same amount of nutrition. We're consuming more calories, but we're becoming more malnourished. And it's not just what's missing from our food, it's what's been added. Our modern food supply is saturated with ultra-processed products. These aren't just foods with a few added ingredients. They're industrial formulations of sugars, unhealthy fats, refined starches, and a cocktail of artificial additives designed to be hyper-palatable. They trick our brains into wanting more while providing almost zero nutritional value. The result? A silent epidemic of chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and a disrupted gut microbiome, the very foundation of our immune system and mental health. The gut is often called our second brain, and when we bombard it with processed junk, it sends distress signals throughout the body, manifesting as everything from skin problems and digestive issues to anxiety and depression. Next, let's talk about our environment. We've engineered a world of incredible comfort and convenience, but it's come at a hidden cost. We spend, on average, over 90% of our lives indoors, disconnected from the natural world. We've swapped fresh air for filtered air, sunlight for artificial light, and the random, complex movements of outdoor life for the sedentary stillness of a chair. This indoor existence is profoundly unnatural. Lack of sunlight exposure leads to widespread vitamin D deficiency, which is crucial for immune function, bone health, and mood regulation. The constant blue light from our screens disrupts our circadian rhythms, telling our brains it's daytime when it should be winding down for sleep. This leads to poor sleep quality, which is one of the most damaging things for our health. It impairs cognitive function, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of numerous chronic diseases. Our modern world is also incredibly loud, not just in terms of sound, but in terms of information. We are constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, breaking news, and the endless scroll of social media. Our nervous systems were not designed for this level of perpetual, low-grade stimulation and stress. This state of chronic digital alertness keeps our bodies in a constant fight or flight mode, pumping out stress hormones like cortisol. Over time, elevated cortisol can lead to weight gain, high blood pressure, and a weakened immune system. We feel perpetually wired and tired, unable to truly relax and recover. The very tools designed to connect us are, in many ways, disconnecting us from our own sense of inner peace and well-being. And what about movement? Sure, many of us go to the gym for an hour a day, and that's great. But what about the other 23 hours? Our ancestors didn't have workout sessions. Their entire lives were a workout. They walked, squatted, lifted, and carried as a natural part of their day. Today, we've engineered movement out of our lives. We drive to a desk job, sit for 8 hours, drive home, and then sit on the couch. This sedentary lifestyle is being called the new smoking for a reason. It contributes to muscle atrophy, poor posture, reduced metabolic rate, and a host of chronic health issues. That 1 hour at the gym, as beneficial as it is, often isn't enough to counteract 23 hours of inactivity. We've lost the natural, consistent, varied movement that our bodies crave and require to function optimally. So here we are, overfed but undernourished, living in sterile boxes, chronically stressed, sleep-deprived, and sedentary. It paints a bleak picture, doesn't it? But the purpose of this isn't to discourage you. It's to empower you. Recognizing the problem is the first and most crucial step toward finding a solution. The decline might be invisible, but the path back to vitality is not. It doesn't require a radical, expensive overhaul of your life. It starts with small, intentional choices. It starts with re-evaluating your plate. Prioritize whole, unprocessed foods. Think of it as eating things that your great-grandparents would recognize as food. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store, where the fresh produce, meats, and dairy are. Try visiting a local farmer's market. You're not just getting more nutrient-dense food. You're reconnecting with where your food comes from. It starts with reclaiming your connection to the natural world. Make it a non-negotiable part of your day to get outside. Even 15 to 20 minutes of morning sunlight can do wonders for setting your circadian rhythm and boosting your vitamin D levels. Take a walk in a park on your lunch break. Open your windows to let fresh air in. Go for a hike on the weekend. These aren't luxuries. They are biological necessities. It starts with managing your digital environment. Set boundaries with your devices. Create tech-free zones or times, especially in the bedroom and during meals. Turn off non-essential notifications. Instead of scrolling through your phone before bed, try reading a book, listening to calm music, or practicing a few minutes of mindfulness. Protect your peace and give your nervous system a chance to rest and digest not just food, but life itself. And finally, reintegrate movement into your day. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park farther away from the store. Set a reminder to get up and stretch every hour if you work at a desk. Do some squats while you wait for your coffee to brew. Think of it not as exercise, but as simply living in your body. The modern world has presented us with a unique set of challenges, but it also gives us the knowledge to overcome them. We can have the best of both worlds, the advancements of modern life and the foundational health of our ancestors. It's about consciously choosing to counteract the invisible forces that are pulling our health down. It's about being an active participant in your own well-being, not a passive victim of your environment. This journey back to vitality is the most important one you'll ever take. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on how to thrive in the modern world. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What small changes have you made that have had a big impact on your health? Let's continue the conversation. Stay healthy and see you in the next video. Have you ever opened a bag of chips intending to have just a few, only to find yourself at the bottom of the bag, wondering what happened? It's not a lack of willpower. It's brain science. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden war for your brain being waged by the food industry. Let's start with a crucial brain chemical, dopamine. Our brains release dopamine to reward behaviors that help us survive, like eating. When our ancestors ate a ripe berry, their brain released a small, gentle pulse of dopamine. It felt good and encouraged them to find more berries. This natural reward system is a whisper, a gentle nudge. Now, compare that to modern processed food. A burger, fries, and a soda aren't just food. They're a meticulously engineered dopamine bomb. When you take a bite, your brain doesn't just get a whisper, it gets a shout. An intense, overwhelming spike of dopamine floods your reward circuits. It's a feeling far more powerful than what any natural food can provide. Your brain quickly learns this. It starts to crave that intense high, not just the food itself. This isn't just about hunger, it's about chasing a feeling. The gentle signal from an apple can't compete with the fireworks display from a donut. This process effectively rewires your brain, training it to seek out and prioritize these hyper-palatable foods above all else. It's the first step in a cycle that can feel impossible to break. The truth is, much of what we eat today isn't cooked. It's engineered. Food scientists, not chefs, are the masterminds behind your favorite snacks. Their job is to create products that you physically can't stop eating. They focus on something called the bliss point. This is the precise amount of sweetness, saltiness, or richness that is maximally pleasurable. It's not about taste. It's about addiction. They also obsess over texture. Think about the perfect potato chip, that initial satisfying crunch, followed by how it instantly melts in your mouth. Or an Oreo cookie, the crisp snap of the biscuit combined with the soft, creamy filling. This combination of textures is called dynamic contrast, and it keeps your brain engaged and wanting more. Then there's vanishing caloric density. Foods that dissolve quickly, like cheese puffs or cotton candy, trick your brain. Because they disappear so fast, your brain doesn't register that you're consuming calories. It thinks you're eating air, so the "I'm full" signal is delayed. These factors, the bliss point, dynamic contrast, and vanishing caloric density, are all designed to bypass your body's natural satiety signals, encouraging you to eat faster and eat more before your brain can even catch up. Now let's talk about the holy trinity of processed food: sugar, salt, and fat. Separately, they're enjoyable. But when combined in the precise ratios found in things like pizza, ice cream, or fried chicken, they become something else entirely. This combination creates a sensory experience so intense that it overloads your brain's reward system. It's a trifecta of pleasure that natural foods simply cannot replicate. This trio acts like a key that unlocks and hijacks your brain's reward pathways. Your brain keeps chasing that pleasurable sensation, even when your stomach is physically full and sending signals to stop. Have you ever felt stuffed after a big meal but still had room for a rich, sugary dessert? That's this effect in action. The pleasure-seeking part of your brain overrides the body's physical cues of fullness. It's not about needing more energy or nutrients. It's about the brain's relentless pursuit of that rewarding chemical rush. This is precisely why it feels so difficult to stop. You're not just fighting hunger. You're fighting a deeply ingrained neurological loop that's been deliberately targeted and exploited. This brings us to the myth of self-control. We're often told that if we just had more discipline, we could resist these foods. But that's a fundamental misunderstanding of what's happening in the brain. When you repeatedly expose your brain to these intense dopamine spikes, it begins to adapt. Think of it like listening to loud music. Over time, you need to turn the volume up just to get the same effect. The same thing happens with food. The dopamine receptors in your brain start to down-regulate or become less sensitive. This means you need more and more of that high-sugar, high-fat food to feel the same level of satisfaction. This is called tolerance. At the same time, the parts of your brain responsible for impulse control, the prefrontal cortex, begin to weaken. You're literally less able to resist the urge. Your brain also gets confused about what real hunger feels like. Is it a physical need for energy, or is it a craving for a dopamine hit? It becomes harder to tell the difference. So, when you find yourself reaching for another cookie, it's not a moral failing. It's a predictable biological adaptation to an unnatural environment. Your brain has been rewired. The impact of this cycle goes far beyond your waistline. It directly affects your mood and energy. When you eat a meal high in refined sugar and processed carbs, your blood sugar spikes dramatically. This might give you a temporary burst of energy, but it's followed by an inevitable crash. As your blood sugar plummets, you can experience a wave of negative effects. Your focus dissolves. You might feel irritable, anxious, or suddenly down. Your energy levels tank, leaving you feeling sluggish and drained. This creates a vicious cycle. What's the quickest way to fix that low energy, bad mood feeling? Another hit of sugar. You reach for a soda or a candy bar to get your blood sugar back up, and the cycle starts all over again. Food is no longer just a source of calories. It has become a tool to manage your emotional state. You're not just eating when you're hungry. You're eating when you're stressed, bored, or sad. Your food choices are now controlling your emotions, and this dependency makes it even harder to make mindful, healthy decisions. So, where do we go from here? The first step to breaking free is awareness. Understanding that your cravings and your struggles are not a sign of weakness, but a biological response to an engineered environment is incredibly empowering. It's not you versus your willpower. It's your brain versus a multi-billion-dollar industry. The solution starts with listening to your body again. Remember, real, whole food whispers. It provides a gentle, sustained sense of satisfaction and energy. Processed food shouts. It delivers a loud, intense, but short-lived high that always leaves you wanting more. By starting to choose the whispers over the shouts, even just one meal at a time, you can begin to heal your brain's reward pathways. You can recalibrate your taste buds and rediscover what true satisfaction feels like. Freedom doesn't come from fighting your brain, but from understanding it and giving it what it truly needs. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that helps you reclaim your health.